Greetings, my fellow hunters, and welcome again. Today we'll begin reviewing another series based on a video game, Arcane League of Legends, and I know this is going to be fun. So, enough dilly-dallying, my hunters, as I always say, let the hunt begin. Now, I know what you guys are thinking for those who are not into this whole gaming thing. What is League of Legends? Well, League of Legends is a game that's basically I believe, a called MOBA, which basically two teams fight each other to basically have dominate of the other team. Now, it's a very complicated game. I have played it and I frankly don't like it. Yeah, but don't worry, this will not shadow my opinion on the whole thing. So, they're two separate things, so don't worry. My opinion on the game will not affect the opinion of the show because, again, like I said, two separate entities, so don't worry. What is Arcane? What's the story? The story simply follows the origins of a few characters, namely Catelyn, Vi, or V, I keep forgetting the pronunciation, and the fan favorite Jinx. It basically shows their backstories, how they came to be, what they were, or who they were before they became who they are, and is basically, like I said, an origin of their stories. So it does ask a lot of pertinent questions from the fan base that I heard about, such as who's into who, what family relationships they are, and basically all that jazz that I'm sure all the League of Legends fans finally get to have their answers, because after a long time, I bet it's just nice to get some clarification, such as Catelyn and Vi being in a relationship, Jinx actually being her sister. I think if you watch the series, you kind of get it from that point. Anyway, so yes, I find it interesting, even though I'm not the biggest fan of this gaming series. It's interesting to know the backstory of the characters, which gives them a bit more characters in, ironically, the show than in the game, because it doesn't have a story, so nothing I can pick my teeth at. So yeah, I kind of find it interesting that we get a good look at who these characters are and become. And there's a lot of twists and turns in it, political-wise, inequality, and how basically corruption and basically how even the law enforcements in the city are basically the city it's set in is basically corrupt to the core. Basically, they're the elites who basically look down at the people who are basically in lower levels of the cities as they are treated like garbage and not even treated fairly. Life everywhere, friends, sadly. But still, I find it an interesting case to look at how the world functions because I originally thought League of Legends was kind of more on the cheerful side, but it turns out it can be a lot darker than you think. Now that I've actually sunk my teeth a bit into the lore. Some people might argue that it ruins the mystique, but I'd argue that it basically is nice to have some questions apparently answered. Who knows? I'm not the longest fan of the series, so I could be wrong. This is just my experience in all of it. Story. And you're wondering why I'm not going into details, because it's a little bit complicated. Like I said, a lot of political structures, basically. Okay, I'll go into brief notion. Basically, a scientist has rediscovered magic, but another scientist believes that it will lead to destruction and wishes to destroy it, but blah blah blah. He proves that magic can be used for good, but in the end they want to weaponize it. And of course, there's the intrigue of an underclass corrupt syndicate that wants to destroy the upper class and show that they will no longer be oppressed, but he's the bad guy. He's basically put this. It's a bit complicated, like I said. It's difficult for me to say, but there's a lot of interesting characters, and I do enjoy it. But I'll give it a pass because it's interesting. Yeah, give it a pass. It's good. I find it interesting, kept me going, and I enjoyed it a lot. So, the characters in this series are very good and well written, but since their personalities and their characters can be described quickly, I think this will be very one of those I'll be zipping past them pretty quickly. So don't worry, they're not bad that I'm zipping past them. It's just that they're very formulaic or a little bit generic when it comes to things. So just a heads up, they're no way bad at all. They're good characters. I just think it's just going to be easy for me to zip past them. First up, we have Vi, who is basically how do I put this? She's basically um, the best way I can put her character is that she's basically the no nonsense, punch first, ask questions later sort of character, and basically is the hard headed character that basically doesn't listen to other characters, but is a good person nonetheless in trying to. I don't want to spoil too much, but basically she just wants to try to right her wrong in her past by reconciling with someone that was dear to her that she abandoned. But overall, she's just sort of the character that's just basically, like I said, hard-headed, ask questions second and punch first, and basically someone you don't want to get into a fist fight because she'll beat the snot out of you. Overall, okay. Next up, we have Catelyn, who is basically the smart of characters. Well, not in the sense that she's basically the smart one in the sense that she's calm, collective, cool-headed, and tries to think logically on how to go into a certain situation. She's not the one to rush in like Vi is and basically cause more problems. She wants to think of the problem and just analyze the situation to the best of the situation. Also, a bit of a spoiler alert here. She's Vi's girlfriend, so don't tell anyone that, will you? Yes, but overall, I find her character very enjoyable and just a nice interest in all of this. And last but not least, the piece de resistance, Jinx herself. Is there much I need to explain about our favorite femme fatale, Jinx? Honestly, she's the sort of person I don't want to mess with because she'd basically shoot me, even though she wouldn't say she would shoot me. So yes, is there much to say about it? She is literally the fan favorite in this whole entire series. The whole series was based on one of her origins. Honestly, besides this, she's basically the crazy one. And that's an understatement. We do see her backstory, how she became from a meek young girl to basically the girl that everybody loves. And yeah, I find her really entertaining in the sense that, yeah, you don't know what she's going to do because she's unpredictable. And I think that makes her one of the most dangerous ones, like a certain other person name that begins with J. That's also a bit on the kooky side. Anyway, that's about it. So, as for the animation, it's pretty good. Honestly, I've played a bit of the game, so I know what the style looks like. And honestly, they look like they literally just took the art style of the games and just transmuted to a full animated series. It looks fantastic. It looks very smooth, natural, and clean. It doesn't look any stiff or motionless. It actually has fluidity to it, which is actually pretty nice to look at. It's not visually dull at all. A lot of bright, contrasting colors, as well as some dark, gloomy colors, leave it to a more atmospheric feel to it when you look at it. From the bright upper city to the stingy, green, dark undercity. It's a nice contrast, honestly. I like it how it looks. As for the music, it was actually pretty well done. I love it how the themes actually fit the characters. Jinx's themes always stand out to me, and how basically it just shows how little on the crazy side she is. It's very well done, and honestly, it's got some catchy tunes. That's why I've been hearing a lot of covers from other YouTubers. But on that note, I have a little bit on the complaint side. Yes, here's the dreaded complaint. I looked up the voice actresses for the characters, and I'm surprised that they didn't. Well, the people who are voiced the characters in the game didn't reprise their roles for Arcane, which I found very interesting and very odd. You'd think that you know they would have you able to use them because they are the characters. But no, they used a new cast of characters to portray them. It's not a complaint, mind you. Again, I'm not the biggest League of Legends fan, so I had to actively look it up. So unless you are League of Legends fans bigger than I am, you probably noticed it. But since I'm not a big fan, I only had to look it up afterwards after I finished the series. But it's not a complaint or anything. It's just more like a weird nitpick. But besides that, the characters were very well portrayed. I love the sound of the voice actors. Very good audio quality compared to the last one I reviewed. And overall, pretty good. I honestly like how they portrayed the characters, especially Jinx. Hats off to the voice actors who did that, because I would have had a hard time doing her. If it was a woman, of course. Anyway, my joke aside, yeah, enjoyed it. Let's move on to my final thoughts, shall we? So, the big $1 million question: is Arcane worth watching? If you skipped ahead and not see my praises of the series, then yes, it is worth watching. It can officially go down as the second best game adaptation in the world. First goes to Castlevania and will always be Castlevania. My personal choices aside, I'm going to say this. I didn't expect much from Arcane. When I first saw the trailers, I thought it was going to just be a nitty-gritty version of League of Legends. And I know it has some dark stuff, but I thought it was just edging on too forced. Then I watched it, and I was conveniently, pleasantly surprised. It's one of these rare times I'm actually glad I was wrong about a trailer and my opinion actually being on the positive side. And I'm happy to hear that they're actually doing a second season, and I personally hope they do more characters outside Jinx, Flying Catelyn, and the others, because I feel like the games are rich in lore and basically worth exploring for the individual characters, if not the popular ones, some obscure good ones as well. It doesn't hurt. It's always fun to learn more about a character's backstory, but yeah, I'd say it's a great series. If you enjoy League of Legends, then you'll probably get a kick out of this. Even if you're not a fan of it, I can still highly recommend it for just the story, the animation, the music, and the characters alone. They're all fantastic, well done, animated, and at least fun to listen to. Well, that's my thoughts on Eddie Hunters. Comment down below what you thought of Arcane. Is it worth all the praise I gave it, or am I just overhyping it like everybody else? Comment down below. I could be wrong. Anyway, my fellow hunters, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked, please subscribe, give this a like, and comment down below for any suggestions. I'm always looking for more. If you're feeling a bit generous, follow me on my Patreon, because just a little help can actually help this old hunter out. Also, if you are interested, check out my Twitch, where I basically stream games every now and again. Well, every week. I try to make it a schedule, so don't worry. I'm currently finishing up Chrono Trigger at the time of this recording, and I'm about to move on to Final Fantasy 13. Help me. And basically, I hope you enjoy that. Follow me on my Twitter if you want to keep up to date with what I do, and follow me on my Discord down below if you enjoy my content and wish to talk with me. I'm always on there and always up for a good chit chat. Anyway, my fellow hunters, thank you for listening. May the good luck guide your way.